You're listening to Psych to Parent, where we turn brain science into tiny wins at home. I'm Dr. Amy, your not-so-typical school psychologist, mom of two, and endurance athlete. I love a good data set and a diagnostic manual. But I also forget permission slips, overthink IEP emails, and occasionally replay the moment I snapped at my kids in the car. In other words, I'm in the messy middle with you, not above it. This show is for parents of big feeling, big thinking kids who are tired of vague advice and Pinterest perfect behavior charts. Each episode, I'll pull back the curtain on what I see in real evaluations, school meetings, my private practice, and my own kitchen, and translate the research into simple scripts, tiny routines, and nervous system friendly tweaks you can actually use. Think of it as a nervous system rehab meets mindset coaching meets a smart, slightly spicy, non-judgy friend in your earbuds. We'll take one real life challenge at a time and shrink it down into 1 or 2 tiny wins you can start this week. No perfection, no 47-step sticker systems, just small, repeatable shifts that add up over time. Quick legal-ish note in plain English. This podcast is for education and support. It's not therapy, it does not create a clinical relationship, and it's not a substitute for personalized medical or mental health advice. If you're worried about your child's safety or mental health, or your own, please reach out to a trusted professional. Okay, deep breath, drop your shoulders. You're not behind and you're not alone. Let's get psyched to parent. Picture this. You wake up on day 3 of winter break and give yourself a little pep talk. Today, I'm going to be fun. I will be the memory-making parent. In your head, you outline the perfect day. A morning craft, park before lunch, baking something festive, and ending the night with a movie, popcorn, and twinkle lights. But by 10 a.m., the craft is a glitter crime scene. One kid has adamantly refused to go to the park. The other has melted down when it was time to leave for the park. And baking turned into a full-on argument over who got more turns with the mixer. And around 3 p.m., you hear yourself say, "Do you know how hard I'm trying to make this fun for you?" The second it's out of your mouth, you feel the hot wave of, "This is not how I want it to sound." Ask me how I know. Go on, because I'll tell you. I have absolutely been the mom wiping dried frosting off the counter at 9:30 p.m. thinking, I ran this day like a cruise ship, and everyone still yelled at each other, including me. This is what I call cruise director parenting, and winter break is its prime season. Welcome back to Psych to Parent. I'm Dr. Amy, school psychologist, parent, wife, endurance athlete in recovery from overfunctioning, and someone who has worn the metaphorical headset and clipboard for more school breaks than I'd like to admit. In my school psych world, I see this pattern all the time. Parents who are trying so hard to, quote, do it right and make things magical. Kids who end up overstimulated and prickly, and adults who end the day more burnt out and stressed and less present. In this bonus episode, we're going to name the cruise director trap and why it's so exhausting for your nervous system, look at boredom through a brain-based lens, why it's not a moral failing, but actually a quiet teacher for kids, and walk through some scripts and tiny wins so you can step back without everything collapsing, including what bare minimum days look like in my actual house. As a kid, if you grew up as the responsible one, the helper, the kid who kept everyone else okay, winter break can feel like a landmine. Suddenly you're trying to create warm, cozy memories, trying to prevent sibling wars, trying to keep up with work, emails, whether or not a package is going to get delivered in time from Amazon, and your own life. And maybe quietly trying not to lose yourself in the process. Then you open your phone, log into your favorite social media app, and you see your feed full of, quote, magical vacation photos and elaborate crafts, perfectly coordinated family photos, and your brain whispers, you are not doing enough. They're going to remember this break. Don't screw it up. Oh, I've been there. From a school psychologist perspective, I can tell you, burned out parents show up differently. When our tank is empty, we're more likely to snap, to shut down, to swing between doing all the things and then hide. Not because we're bad parents, but because we're human. So if you found yourself thinking, I'm doing everything and I still feel like I'm failing, why am I so resentful when I'm just home with my kids? Why can't I just enjoy this break like everyone else seems to? Welcome to the messy middle. You're not alone and you're not broken. You're just maxed out. Let's talk about brain science through my school psychology goggles. There are two nervous systems we care about in this episode: your child's nervous system and yours. On the kid side, kids' brains are still building executive functioning skills: planning, organizing, starting tasks, problem solving, being flexible when something doesn't go as planned. Boredom is one of the places those skills grow. When there's unstructured time and nobody fills it for them, kids get the chance to notice, I'm bored, decide what they want to try to do, start something on their own, change course when it doesn't work. From a research angle, boredom and unstructured play are linked with creativity, problem solving, and stronger internal motivation over time. Now, on the parent side, there's a whole line of research on parental burnout. When we're constantly over-functioning, solving problems, entertaining, smoothing everything over, we as parents become more exhausted, more irritable, and more likely to yell or withdraw from our kids and partners, even when we still deeply love our kids. So here's the uncomfortable math. When we are in cruise director mode, where we plan everything, want to keep everyone happy, that often leads to parental burnout, where we become more harsh or checked out in our parenting, and we see more behavioral challenges with our kids. At the same time, autonomy supportive mode, that's the idea of being, I'm here for you, I set some boundaries, but I give you choices and room to figure things out. That results in stronger motivation, better adjustment, and more resilience for our kids. Autonomy supportive mode, that's the sweet spot we're aiming for. It's not the good luck, figure it all out yourself, and not I'll entertain you 24/7, but it's the I'm with you and I'm not going to run this ship like a kid's resort. Let me tell you about a mom I worked with in my practice. I'm going to call her Christina. She's super smart, incredibly organized, high achieving, and the kind of mom who knows the whole school calendar by heart. Winter break for her kids looked incredible on paper. There were theme days, crafts with matching supplies laid out, special outings, baking projects, service projects, movie nights. But by January, she was falling apart. And she told me in a session, I plan all these things because I want them to have a magical childhood. And by 4 p.m., I'm exhausted and snapping at them. They're fighting more, not less. I end up hiding in the bathroom, scrolling on my phone, and just feeling like a terrible mom. When we sat down and mapped her days, there were 0 white space. Every chunk of time had an agenda. The kids didn't have room for boredom, self-directed play, or just existing. Now, for my school psych brain, what I saw was a parent with amazing executive functioning running the show, kids who weren't getting practice using their own, and a nervous system that was in a daily marathon with no recovery. So we changed the plan. We created a good enough checklist. 3 boxes: everyone eats, everyone moves, and everyone connects. A one big thing day. Maybe it was a park, craft, or an outing, not 5 things in one day. And most importantly, bare minimum days built into the break on purpose. Days where the plan was no plan. She practiced saying to her kids, I'm not your cruise director, I'm here, I love you, and you're in charge of your fun for a big part of today. Now, she was terrified that they'd fall apart. But what actually happened, her kids complained a lot at first because they were used to having her tell them everything to do. But then they started building more elaborate games, being more creative, making up shows, going outside more. And she ended the day tired, but not fried. She noticed that she was yelling less and she had more genuine enjoyment of her kids. See, that's the shift. She went from being the cruise director to the guide. Let's have a big feeling kid reframe here. When your kid says, I'm bored for the 19th time, your nervous system might hear, you're failing, fix this, entertain them, or you're a bad parent. Now, from a school psychology lens, I hear something very different underneath big feeling kids' boredom complaints. What I hear is, I don't know where to start. I'm used to someone else always structuring my fun. This in-between feeling makes my body feel yucky, and I want someone to fix it. Now, for a sensitive or anxious kid, boredom often feels like itchy anxiety. Not just nothing to do, it's an agitated state. Something should be happening, but I just don't know what. If every time that itch shows up immediately and we hand them a device or roll out an activity buffet, their brain learns, I can't handle boredom or discomfort. For sensitive or anxious kids, boredom often feels like this itchy anxiety, this idea of not just nothing to do. It's an agitated state in their bodies. Something should be happening, but I don't know what. So if every time that itchy anxiety shows up and we as parents immediately hand them a device or roll out an activity buffet, our kid's brain learns, I can't handle boredom or discomfort. Someone has to rescue me from it. If instead we stay nearby, keep boundaries, but don't fix it for them, their brain learns, I can survive this feeling. I can figure something out. I'm more capable than I thought. As a parent, you're not abandoning them. You're letting their executive functioning stretch while your nervous system isn't running at redline. Let's try some parenting scripts here, okay? Here are some parenting scripts you could try. Use them as is or tweak to sound like you. Number 1, normalize boredom. You might say something like this. Boredom is your brain's way of saying, I'm ready to create or explore. You can remind your kid, I'm not going to entertain you, but I won't leave you totally stuck either. Number 2, shift the responsibility, the cruise director of your fun. I can help you make a short list of ideas if you'd like. Do you want help with that, or do you want to come up with your own ideas? Number 3, offer a small menu. Something like this. Here are 3 options right now. Build something, draw something, or go outside. You don't have to love them, but you do need to pick one. Number 4, hold a tech boundary calmly. This is where you can say something like this. Right now is non-screen time. You can be bored, you can be creative, you can be annoyed with me. Those are all okay feelings, but more shows aren't on the menu right now. Number 5, name your own limits. You can say something like this. Today is a low energy day for me. That means fewer activities for me and more you deciding what you want to do. You're safe, you're loved, and it's okay if the day is simple. In my house, I will literally say, okay, team, today is a bare minimum day. Pajamas are fine. Dinner might be grilled cheese. Add garlic salt, it's delicious. You are in charge of most of your fun. Screens have a window later this afternoon. The rest is up to you. Now, do my kids always respond with the grateful hugs and being like, oh, thanks, Mom? Absolutely not. They get mad at me. The transition we give up screens is hard. But later in the day, I'll walk by my 2 kids and see things like elaborate fort villages, obstacle courses in the hallway, marble runs created using only a hot glue gun and Amazon boxes. And my nervous system isn't completely cooked, which means when someone melts down at 4 p.m., I have more capacity to respond instead of react. Here are the tiny wins for this week. Number 1, the good enough day checklist. Redefine success as everyone ate something, everyone moved their bodies a little, everyone had at least one connection moment. Maybe it's a shared laugh, game, snuggle, or quick walk. If those happened, the day counts. Even if there were tears, sibling fights, and cereal for dinner. At our house, a good enough day might be cereal for breakfast, 15 minutes of bikes in the neighborhood, 1 round of Uno, screens during the afternoon slump, and frozen pizza for dinner. That's it. Good enough? No cruise director required. Number 2, the boredom menu. On a calm moment, build a boredom menu with your kids and stick it on the pantry or fridge. Some ideas might be build with Legos or blocks, draw or make comics, play outside, listen to music or an audiobook, make up a game with stuffed animals, write a silly story or put on a show. Next time they say, I'm bored, you can calmly say, sounds like boredom menu time. What are you going to pick? You're not scrambling for ideas on the spot. You're pointing them to their own pre-agreed upon list. Number 3, planned bare minimum days. Choose 1 to 2 days of break to intentionally be bare minimum days. Announce them like this. Tomorrow is a bare minimum day. No big outings, easy meals, lots of free play, and probably an extra show. That's on purpose, not because anything went wrong. Those days might be when your kid's creativity really kicks in and you feel just a little less like a camp counselor and a little more like an actual human who gets to rest too. I want you to think about this one question. Ask yourself this. If I gently sit down my cruise director clipboard this break, what tiny bit of energy or joy might come back to me and to my kids? Maybe it's actually laughing during the one movie you watch, or having a tiny bit more patience during the 4 p.m. meltdown, or going to bed feeling tired instead of utterly depleted. We're not aiming for a personality transplant. We're aiming for a 5 to 10% shift from I'm responsible for everyone's happiness at all times to I'm a guide, not a cruise director. If this episode helped you feel even a little less alone with the I'm bored battles and the pressure to be your family's cruise director, make sure you're following the podcast so you don't miss future episodes. And send it to a friend who also texts you about trying to make it magical and ending the day exhausted. And if you want help decoding what your child's behavior might be trying to tell you, I made something for you. It's called the Big Feelings Decoder, a simple cheat sheet that takes some of the most confusing, rude, and dramatic behaviors our kids do and offers a few possible translations for what might be going underneath, plus scripts you can try with them. You can grab it by clicking the link in the show notes. It will also add you to the Tiny Wins email list. If you'd like to hang out on social, come find me on Instagram at Psych2Parent. We'll keep taking tiny wins together. One, I'm bored. One, bare minimum. One ordinary winter afternoon at a time. Thank you for hanging out with me on Psych2Parent. I'm Dr. Amy, your not so typical school psychologist, and I'm genuinely glad you're here doing this work instead of quietly white knuckling it and blaming yourself. Your tiny win from today's episode is simple. Do not overhaul your entire parenting style. Pick one idea, one sentence, or one tiny shift and try it in a low stakes moment this week. Then notice what changes, even if it is just by 1%. If you want more support, head over to psych2parent.com. You'll find show notes, simple scripts, and parent-friendly guides that go with these episodes. While you're there, make sure you join the Tiny Wins mailing list so you get weekly brain-based tips, real-life examples from my work with families, and first dibs on new workshops and resources. It's the easiest way for us to stay connected beyond the podcast. If this podcast was helpful, it really does matter when you tap follow or subscribe. Leave a quick review or text it to a friend who is parenting a big feeling, big-hearted kid too. This podcast is for education and encouragement. It is not therapy, and it's not a substitute for individualized care. If you're worried about your child or yourself, please reach out to a trusted professional in your area. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are building something new, one tiny win at a time. I'll see you in the next episode, probably with a cold coffee in hand, cheering you on.